Praise team.
All right. Okay, all right. All right, we're going, we wrapping it up. We coming down to the wire. We're here with my brother, the last but not least. Can I get your attention in the room, please? Please. This brother, actually the name, the title of our presentation, Mind Your Own Business, came from this brother's presentation. So he does this type of thing for a living. My brother here, the Irritated Genie, I'm not going to say too much about him because, you know, once he gets on this mic, you'll realize how powerful his voice is. He is amazing. He is phenomenal. I mean, you know, every day the sun opens up and the gods shine down. Every time he walks in the door. My brother, my friend, my comrade, please give it up for the Irritated Genie.
What's up? Beautiful intro, sister.
And the sun doesn't come out every time, just half of the time. So thank you. Let's give it up for Sister Al Kamar for putting this all together. And also all of our esteemed panelists. Show some love for our esteemed panelists here. Let's also give a special shout out to Dr. Baruch and Everlasting Life that's right. For those who are not living in the D.C., Washington metropolitan area, this one place that you're sitting here. I'm not talking about this area. This single establishment is the cultural hub of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. That means Virginia, Arlington, Maryland, D.C. The single place where you're going to get the most consciousness, the most information, the most support for black-owned business, the most open environment for dialogue for us to improve as a race of people is right here at Everlasting Life. So let's clap it up for Everlasting Life again. Thank you. And let's also clap all of these fantastic vendors. I understood when she was saying, could you please settle down? But I saw people buying. I couldn't even say anything. Look, I know what it's like. When you're a vendor and you're selling, you don't care what's going on. You want the people to keep buying. So let's clap it up for all of our vendors. We got all of these fantastic products. And we thank all of the customers for being here as well. So I want to say a few things and I want to get right into this. I promise you I will not be long today. One, I'm just going to touch on a few things today. Mostly I'm going to talk about what we've been doing overseas in terms of business and what we're doing and how it affects what we're doing here. That's what I'm going to talk today. But December 2nd, we're having the premier scholar of the 21st century, Dr. Wanli Mubaruti. He'll be right here. December 2nd, that's a Sunday. It's a $25 ticket. You'll be getting not only him, he'll be talking about the road to true African sovereignty. Like African people, black people really doing for ourselves and being independent. And I saw the lecture. We did a double lecture down in Houston. I'm the one that said, we've got to bring this to the D.C. area. I talked to Dr. Baruch, said, Dr. Baruch, just trust me. You do not want to miss this. I was messed up, and this is what I do. And I was sitting there like, okay, we got to have this in the D.C., Washington, PG County area, so he's going to be here. That also, December 2nd date happens to be my Earth Day, brother turning 45. I beat the odds, Southeast, I beat the odds at 45. I'm feeling good. Southeast still here in the house. And so what I would advise everybody and suggest for everyone, Baba Baruti will be doing his lecture again, The Road to African Sovereignty. People have been asking for this for years, and I only do things, you know, this is going to sound, for people that know me, they're going to look at me and go, I know this dude is not saying this. But I've always been that person, anybody who talks spirituality or religious or stuff, I was always that jerk who was negative and talking down to them. Now, every time I get up, I can't help but tell the truth. I don't do anything now until the ancestors or the creator tell me to do it. So I don't be trying to lead the way because I see it doesn't work that way anymore. I got to be told when it's time. And people have been saying this DVD here series is Mind Your Black Business Part 1. Then I did Part 2. And I told people when I did Part 2, we're going to do Part 3. Part 3 is how we get our wealth back. People have been asking me for, I think I did this in 2012 for about 6 years now. When you going to do Part 3? And it just hadn't hit me. It's hit me now. And so we're going to be doing Part 3. And I would suggest for everyone, and it's a part sale, but it's the truth. If you're really going to come out to this, which you should, you cannot miss Baba Baruti in this election. You can't miss this one, Mind Your Black Business Part 3, but you got to get this. Because you have to have in order to really get it, you have to understand why black people are in the economic condition we're in. I'm not going to go into it because there's 3 discs here to get to understand it. We've been more economically productive in this country than any other group. The problem is every single thing that we've had has been undermined systematically. And I'm not talking about our own errors. I'm talking about running highways through black business districts. I'm talking about destroying black communities and taking the properties that when we drive down in the South now, we see these huge plantation homes, but we don't realize many of those places were black owned. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of acres. They went in literally and killed black people and just took the homes and moved in and then rewrote the titles for themselves. We're talking about an economic genocide that we don't understand. So if we don't understand that aspect of it, then it'll be very difficult to understand the weight. And let me just say this. Yes, it's economic, but once you watch this, you'll understand. What I'm going to be talking about on December 2nd, how we get our wealth back, it's going to be hard. Because when you're talking dollars, making sense, you make a lot of people upset. And I'm just to make the point clear, if you want to know why they went into Iraq and killed Saddam Hussein, because Saddam Hussein said he's going to change the currency, pull the petrol off the dollar. You want to know why they killed Gaddafi? He said we're going to the dinar, the gold standard in Africa, and changing the currency. And they went in there and did it. So I'm saying that to say, when we have a discussion on how we get our wealth back, it ain't a nice guy discussion. We're going to be very honest. It's going to be a very serious discussion. That's coming December 2nd. Let's clap it up for Baba Baruti, who's already out there listening. The premier scholar of the 21st century will be in the house live and direct. So I think that's it. And then I'm pretty proud. Now, I cannot take full credit for this, but we have very nice cards and everything. The sister was talking about cards, and I can brag. Can I tell y'all the secret to my success in very nice cards, though? I want to lie to you and tell you I'm just like that. I'm a Southeast dude. It's what we do, you know. But the truth of it is, I got starving artists on my side. So let me tell you, we have some brothers up in Lando. This is going to sound so bad when I'm saying coming from a black man. I didn't know we had black people that did this quality of stuff. I know it sounds bad, but the quality of stuff that they do is so much nicer than anything else. Literally, wherever I go in the world, people say those are the nicest cars I've ever seen. I mean, I'm not making up. People have said that to me so many times, and I'm like, I actually am lucky enough to be working with a black-owned business that produces and has given us some of the best trademarking that anybody has doing the work that we do in terms of consciousness and information for our people. And we have wonderful cards. So if you're interested in getting high-quality production, it's called Starvin Artist. It's STARVIN Artist, ARTIST.net. Again, starvinartist.net. You tell them Irritated Genie referred you there, and I'm telling you, the quality of their work, I would not get up here and put my reputation on the line for it. When you go see the table and you see our marketing and what we have there, all of that is done by them. They're absolutely outstanding, and they make me proud to be a black person in terms of the quality of the work they do. Let's clap it up for Starvin Artists. Go get that business from Starvin Artists. You can have cards like this too. And they ain't gonna be quite like this because you ain't the Irritated Genie, but they can still be nice. So you can go there and you get some real nice stuff. All right. So, yes, ma'am. She said, bring it on over here. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, take that. That's yours. That's right. So, what I want to talk about, instead of talking about, because we got a lot of discussion today about overall economics, working for ourselves, a lot of excellent dialogue. I'm gonna talk about some things that we're doing. I'm just going to talk about, I'm going to skip over what we need to do and just talk about some, because that's already been done. Some of the things that we're, right now, as we're sitting in this room, that are happening, and some of you may be in a position to help where we're going, And some of you going to want to get on board once you hear it, particularly if you're already in business. So let me tell you, I just got back from a 30-day tour in Africa. 14 days in Zimbabwe, 14 days in South Africa, Zambia. And what I can say is, we've been working on some efforts. We call it Building Bridges campaign, where we're working on getting and building a bridge so that black people who want to do something positive and understand that we are connected with our brothers and sisters on the continent and in the Caribbean and in England and around the world, that it is time now, if we're going to survive the 21st century, we got to start working together in a tangible, meaningful way. And many of us are doing that. I know that many people are doing it. And we're actually at a point now where I can show you, not theory, but actually what we've been producing. So we went to Zimbabwe my first time, December 2016. Walked into a place, a district, because I wanted to get something made for myself. Because I said, I want to be distinct when I walk out there and speak. You know, every speaker wants to, do something to set yourself apart. And I walked in this room. Matter of fact, should I tell the real story? Yes. Which would be a little longer, or should I tell the nice story? You want the real story?
Southeast story. The
Southeast story. All right. I'm gonna keep it Southeast. All right. Keep it Southeast. So I wanted to get a tailor. So the sister said, I got a great tailor. You can come and go see it. So she walked us to the business district, right, in Zimbabwe. We go up in the Robin House, and she says, come on in. When they walked to the door, I saw this type of stuff on the wall. I was like, I heard the sun came out into the room, and I heard the angels start singing. I said, this is straight black pride. Yeah. So I was like, this is amazing. So she walked, and then I saw the sister who came out, and I was like, she was wearing her own clothes. I was like, man, this is perfect. I was like, everything's working. I said, the ancestors are with me. Everything is perfect. I was getting very spiritual in the moment. And then she walked over to the sister and walked this way, and there was another sister sitting out at the table. And I realized, I was like, so this is your stuff? The sister at the table, like, no, this is my stuff. Now, I don't mean this in a negative way, but like, that feeling I had kind of sank a little bit, because the stuff that she had made, it was nice, but it was not this. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to hurt nobody's feelings, so I'm going to be nice. So I said, I'm going to get you information and everything like that, and I did, but I was like, that just wasn't it. If I hadn't seen this, what she did was great. But once I saw this stuff, I can't go backwards. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Once you drink a clean glass of water, like Muhammad said, you can't go back to a dirty glass. You're not going to be able, it wasn't dirty glass. It was nice, but it just wasn't this. So I left. I was nice, got her number and information. I was like, forget it, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going there trying to make things happen in Zimbabwe. I got lost one day. And I'm just walking downtown, and I'm looking at the signs in the country. Sam Nujoma Street crossing Kwame Nkrumah Street. I'm like, wow. An African nation where the streets are named after black people. Woo! That's how I'm like my sister. I'm loving it. I'm like, who cares if I'm lost? I'd rather be lost here than lost somebody way back home. You know what I'm saying? Like where I came from. So I'm walking around, and I said, wait a minute, this looks like where I was before. Then the Southeast hit me. I said, oh, this is the same spot. So I said, man, I can go to the same place and just make sure the other sister don't see me and just see what I can do. So I walked up the steps, and the sister who was making this nice stuff was just happened to be standing at the door, and the other sister was around the little corner, so she couldn't see me. So I was like, come on. So I went back down, and she reluctantly came out. I said, look, I got to keep it real. What you doing in there is straight black pride. We got a movement, blah, blah, blah. Talked to her. Long story short, she made me an outfit. I came back. Everybody saw it. I said, look. I said, you know what? It makes no sense. The things she's making are cheaper than the stuff that we go to Macy's and places to buy. It's nicer. It's higher quality. And it's made by somebody black. Right. That's right. Why should we not go back to the U.S.? We got a movement called Straight Black Pride. We're talking about working with each other internationally. And start saying, look, we got somebody that makes our clothes, and guess where they are? They're on the African continent. So instead of saying made in Italy or made in China, we got tags say made in Zimbabwe. It's in Africa. We can dress as Africans with clothes made on the continent. That's a real economic, and then we can come back and sell it. And in addition, we're trying to develop pride and self-respect and dignity for our people. Look how we look. I mean, look, look, I'm not being conceited or arrogant or anything like this, but I mean, this is fly, man. I'm sorry. I mean, what can you do, man? I don't want to, look, I'm not going to lie to you, but look, You can do this too. You know what I'm saying? Listen, this is what we do. We come over here, and so we start working. I placed a big order. This is the third time I'm going over. Placed a nice order, and what we're doing is much bigger than just the individual.
And the fabric feels good.
Oh my, thank you, my. See, I didn't pay her. I promise you. The sister said the fabric feels good. You want to come check these out? What we're doing is this. The idea is this, because it didn't stop there. Oh, the reversible. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what could y'all give me can I apologize? I gave y'all half of the story. Let me show you the rest of the story. See, when you go, I know when y'all go to places to get y'all stuff made, you know, you go to the Macy's and the Nordstroms. It's nice, but you know, you get the regular stuff.
I don't know them.
You don't know them? Oh, you don't know them. She said, I don't know them. Okay. See, we do it a little different. See, what we do, because what happens now, brother, you've been in a situation. You at the ball game during the day, but you got a hot date that night, right? But you ain't got time because, you know, you think you got time, but you don't want to be late because the first time you're going to see the sister. So you don't want to be late, but you know you're telling you get there, but you with your boys at the game, so it's going to be cutting it close. So this is how you do it, because you don't want to go with your stains from your beers you probably drinking. I know y'all be drinking beers at the games. So you're going to spill something. You don't want to go there with something spilled with the new queen that you put in the car. You kind of like her. So what you do, you rock that out with your boys during the day, right? You ain't got time to get home. You realize I'm going to be late. I don't want to be late. I want to impress her because I know I'm always late. But it's the first time I'm picking up, so I'm going to be, at least this time, I'm going to be on time, right? At least the first time. So what you do, you don't go home. That's too much because you're going to be late. You don't want to be late. So how you do it so you don't be late? You just size it up because you're going to have pictures for the day before, you know what I'm saying? Pictures from the ball game, it's going to look like you just wore the same thing. It's going to look like you didn't really care enough to really treat the sister special. So you flip that joint out, then you just rock on over there. You do what you do, you know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. Got that fire. You got to have that fire. Especially if you're from Southeast, you better do it like that. So no matter where you're from, we can do it. So thank you, sister. So, right, so this is what we're doing. Sure, it's I love the clothing, we love what we're doing, but it's really not about that. It's about this. We did a conference, 21st Century African Survival. What are we going to do? What is the plan for African people in the 21st century? If you missed that, that was in Atlanta. I can't do that today, but one of the things we talked about was this. If we're going to survive economically, realistically, this is a hard one to take because it's not the way we're thinking now, but we got to calibrate it correctly. Dr. John Henry Clark was talking about black people, and particularly in the African continent, all the riches, and he said, black people have always had something that other people want, feel they can't live without, and don't want to pay for. So, in the reverse end, peace be upon him, of a Dr. John Henry Clark, of what he's saying, we're saying, okay, we recognize right now internationally, we're not at the level that we need to be and we would like to be in what we produce. But there are things that we produce like clothing. So, you know, there are things that we produce like food here in the restaurant. There are things that we produce. But then we got brothers and sisters in places where they don't have a lot. They might got rocks. They might don't have anything, but the bottom line is this. We got our African blood and our African DNA. So what we say is this, in the same spirit that Dr. John Henry Clark said. We in the 21st century, particularly in the beginning of this century, before we get proficient in producing high quality goods and services, we're not all the way there. Yeah, this is there, but everything that we do is not there. Yes, the restaurant, but this is not necessarily a reflection of all black people everywhere. We say we got to get this mindset. Whatever, if they got rocks, I don't care where it is. They in Brazil, all they got is rocks. Those rocks can make a chain or necklace or something. We got to feel like black people anywhere in the world, they have something that we want, we cannot live without, and we definitely want to pay for. In other words, we got to make the decision that the most important thing about any good or service that we get is that we got it from a black person. We want to be able to walk outside of there and say, look, I don't wear nothing if it's not made by black people. Yeah. So the brothers and sisters in Ethiopia talking about making a shoe factory, it doesn't matter how the shoes look. We got to get on them and just say, buy the shoes first, put money in their pockets, and then say, look, make these type of shoes because these are the ones we want to buy. Right. We've got to get to the point where we realize nobody's coming to save us. Right. They're not coming on the ground. They ain't coming out of the sky. They ain't coming from under the ground. They ain't coming, ain't no magic saviors. And I ain't talking religion. I'm saying the white folks ain't coming. Ain't no magic black person coming in to save the day economically. The only thing gonna save the day economically for black folks is folks saying, I'm gonna go over there and see what they got. Let's get it over here. Now, let me tell you how it's expanded now, and I'm really loving it because it speaks to what we're doing. So while I'm over there meeting different people, it'll be a long story. I can't tell you the whole long story, but I met a brother who actually was a commander in the war where they took their land back and freed Zimbabwe, but he's an actual herbalist. So you know what he does? He has a farm, and he knows every single plant, and he grinds it up, and they got a sheet. I mean, I ain't never seen that like this. What are the problems people are ill with? You got a sheet, high blood pressure, and it's got stuff I don't even know what it is. These are natural products that are all natural. You take it, you put it in your cup, put some hot water in it, boil it, put some, if you want to put some honey for a taste, you take this and it'll help your high blood pressure. Yes. This one will help your diabetes. This one will help, they have stuff where people have respiratory stuff. It's like 100 different stuff. That each one of them, each of these different products with these different herbs that they make, they say help people with this. Now, I'm not a health expert. I can't prove it. What I can say is this. He gave me stuff for me just to take, to use. I love it. I use it. And I've gotten people that have high blood pressure. I've let them try some of the stuff. I don't know how to prove how it works. What I do know is this. And I think everybody here in this room would agree with me. It's plenty of black people trying the Western medicine here.
Yes.
That ain't working.
Yes.
And they trying it every day, every night, year after year. And sometimes they take the medicine and get sicker in a different way than they were before they started taking the medicine. Is that true?
It don't fit our DNA.
He said, don't fit our DNA. So then this is the thing. I'm actually meeting with people who have the land. And what I'm loving about it is he said, yeah, I asked him how did they get this. And this is not something they did in a lab. This is something the ancestors told them. And some people have kept it. Hey, if this goes on, use this to do this. And this does with headaches. And this. So those people who've been doing this for generations, some of them have kept it. And now I got bottles of stuff that we can bring back. So what we're doing now is saying, look, forget this. Oh, by the way, man, could you bring that shea butter up here? Can somebody bring me just one of the shea butters off my table back here? Because I just want people to understand where we're going with this. This was the beauty of this. Right now, we're putting money into the economy of Zimbabwe, of Africa. Us, when we buy these, it goes directly in the pockets of black people on the ground that's producing it. They can now buy more material, can do, I got 5 minutes. Okay, I got a little bit of time left, so let me wrap it up. Yes. So, this is what happens. We're putting money, real money, in the pockets of our people there. But this is the beautiful thing. We have a brother in Baltimore that produces our shea butters that we use. Anybody here has used these shea butters? Raise your hand if you've used them. Are they good? Yeah. Listen, there's nowhere that I go, and I'm going to just tell you like what I'm talking about. Anywhere I go and let people try them. Right now, I have orders coming from England because when we were in Zimbabwe, the group there is from England. But they told me we don't have a lot of high quality like this once they tried it, products in England for black people. So you got all these black people who want products. They got to go to white folks to get products for their hair and for their bodies. And do you think they make products that are designed to tailor towards us? No. So here's the beautiful thing. Right now in Africa, the same people who were putting money into their economy, they tried this. Those countries want to buy it because they say, now listen, I'm in South Africa. They're telling me you got a couple of people that got some products, but for the most part, there's nothing on this level quality made by a black person in the country. And they're saying we would buy it and it would sell off the racks because our people want natural products for them these days. So right now we're working on sending the products made here over there. What does this mean? This means we're not talking about a bridge. We're actively participating. We're talking about natural medicines. We're talking about products that we make here that we can ship to our brothers and sisters. They can be proud that they're getting it from black people. We're talking about clothing, which all of us have to wear every day. We're talking about consumable items. What we're talking about is actually practical, realistic ways for us as black people to have products and stuff. I'm telling you, I was there. I'm not speculating. Our people on the continent want the products that we have. But there's a but that's even bigger. Not just do they want it, but a lot of them have land. And if we can work it out, we can get much more of the products that we already sell, because most of us import the stuff from there anyway. We can work with our brothers and sisters there. Every industry of natural care that exists out there, we have the land and the know-how from both sides of the ocean that we can actually take the entire industry back over. I'm not saying I think. We can do it, and right now, because of the consciousness, because of the things that are being put out here in different places, black people want to hear this, and they're ready to do it, and we can. So I want to wrap it up with just this last piece to let you know, again, this is not theory. This is a real product that's over there now, and they're asking for it in England and on the African continent, and they're going to get it, because I'm going to make sure, because I get paid too. So they're going to get the product. You better leave that. But what's so beautiful is this. Last piece I want to say, because where we are, I think it's the most relevant thing I can say. What county are we in right now? Okay. What's the wealthiest county of black people in this country? Okay. What percentage of the government in PG County is black? Is it low or high?
Low.
It's high. It's high.
Very high.
It's high.
Now, am I saying they're black and they think like all of us? I can't say that, but I'll say this. Where else do you have the wealthiest county of black people in the country and a black government? And a black government. Nowhere else in the country. So what am I saying is this. At this point, the next phase of what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sit down with some of these people in commerce in this region and some of these people in government. And some people here, the reason I'm sharing this is because you may have connections or know-how how to make this happen. This is what we got to do. The only thing that's really in the way of us blowing this thing wide open, only thing, is shipping is kind of expensive. But if we go and get a PG County initiative in a black county, the wealthiest county in the country, and say, look, we don't have enough black entrepreneurship in PG County. So you know what? We need to go from across seas and start doing business with our brothers and sisters over there that'll help them and create jobs and business infrastructure here, where those that are producing products and goods here, we can sell it to Africa and we can get it back here. But to help start it, we want an initiative. And the main thing that the initiative can do economically is help with the shipping. Because if we offset the shipping and we get it going, we'll be able to get it to the point where once we get it flowing, we got young brothers and sisters that want to go into business. We know the goods and products that our people want. We got it. We got the information. We got the radio waves and that we can put out to inspire people to buy black. We got the PLM in Baltimore. You got Straight Black Pride here, New York. And then you got all these black groups. You got Everlasting Life. We got people that got the ideas. We got groups in Africa. I'm in connection with them now. Really, literally, all it takes is for some brave soul who got power in government to say, yes, we think there should be an initiative where we can help put money into the economy of PG County by producing more black entrepreneurs. And we're going to have a partnership with African countries so that we can help them develop as well. Does that sound reasonable?
Very.
Is it doable?
Indeed.
So I'm just sharing this here. Again, this is very quick. My time is up. I just wanted to let people know when we're talking about economic development, 21st century outlook of what we can do as black people, it's not just talk. This is something we got to stop just talking about and begin to put into practice, and it's not that difficult. And for brothers and sisters who live in this area, there's no better place in this country to do what we're talking about than the wealthiest black community in America, with 7 out of the 10 richest black communities in the country right here in PG County with a black government and with black people. So with that, brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for your time. I hope that was that beneficial dialogue we just had there? Yes. All right, and I'm going to bring my sister Al Kamal back up. Let's clap for her. Thank you so much.
All right, let's give Genie another round of applause. Okay, well, we're going to roll right into, in the interest of time, we're going to roll right into our question and answer session. So we're going to bring all the speakers back up to the stage. And you guys have the opportunity to ask any and all questions that you guys had mulling in your head throughout the whole presentation. And even if it was something that we did not discuss, but you have a question about as it relates to business, this is your time to give it a shot. So we have folks from all types of industries here to share. My brother Larry here, he was our first presenter. He has his own home improvement, home construction business. He started from Southeast. Been knowing him since I was 21 years old. Watched his rise. Now he's moving and shaking. Brother here does his own consulting industry business. Nikiwi, my sister here in Baltimore, she owns her own daycare center. And they are doing big things up in Baltimore, family. Big, great things for the children and the community. Myself, I'm with a plethora. I do a whole lot of different things, but I do have a jewelry business, and I do, I'm on media, so social media, things of that nature, and the Irritated Genie. So Genie, he's our ambassador to the African nation. So he's doing a big things. He's doing a lot of things overseas, meeting with diplomats and talking about, bringing us closer together from the continent here. This is the wave of the future and where we need to go if we're looking to rise as a people out of this funk that a lot of us are in. So these are the things that need to take place. So here we are. Jeannie's going to come up. We're just waiting on him. I'm going to maneuver this live stream. Yes, sir.
I was going something I can help what Jeannie said. I was just with a group of people from, I can't think what Africa they were. They were all millionaires. They came for one purpose, and that's the investment. I was just with them last week. It was like 8 of them. And everyone was millionaires. And they came with a very just one purpose, to invest in American black business. So, y'all, they're looking for us.
Okay.
All you have to do is put yourself in the right position to meet these people. So you got to mingle with us. Well, I'm not part of them, but mingle with those of us who know and are out there in that circle to find out what you do next.
Okay.
There is
Yes,
an
sir.
elected official here that has a business roundtable, and he presents all of these wealthy people that are looking for business to work with the black community.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, somebody check our time. We do have 30 minutes for question and answering. So, anybody have any questions for anybody on the panel? You look like you got one finger up. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering what was kind of a question for all you guys. What was the most influential book that you've read that's kind of inspired you?
You can't hear the question.
The most influential book that you read that inspired you in your business realm. Is it in business or is it just in general?
In general.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. In general. Book.
Mine was pretty much...
Talk in the mic, brother. Turn it on. Is it turn on?
Yeah.
Is it on?
There you go.
Okay.
Mine was pretty simple. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Because there was a lot of times when you get nervous when you're about to make a move or try to venture into something new. You get scared. But the book said, feel the fear and do it anyway. And then even though I was still fearing what the outcome may have been, I just did it anyway. And then after I realized that, why was I scared? It was nothing to it.
All right.
For myself, I like motivational stuff. So my sister Ife have a book out called Wake Up, Rise Up. That's one of the books.
Woo-hoo, I read that book. Excellent book.
I also watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, motivational speaking.
The book I would probably choose is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Black choice, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good book.
It's a black choice.
I would have to say two, Destruction of Black Civilization. And then, of course, I think it's pretty ridiculous for me not to say The Irritated Genie. that book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, it made me realize we're not a lack of quality people. We just done had some serious fighting and we done lost some battles, but we can win. And then The Irritated Genie let me know, oh, now I know how to win. I saw some people who did it, so that inspired me.
For me, I would be remiss if I didn't suggest my own book, which is back there on for sale at Tangle Web. Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah,
Robert
that's a good book.
Kiyosaki. That book changed the whole trajectory of my business life.
Yes.
that book right there. I read it in my mid-20s, and I was never the same since. I never had the same concept about business since. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes.
As far as with us as a people, I would recommend The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. It's a classic. Everybody should have that in their library. Children should read it as well.
The Miseducation.
Yes, Carter G. Woodson. Any other questions?
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Just to be clear, I don't know if people know, there's a book called The Irritated Genie that's about the Haitian Revolution. That's not a book that a lot of people think I wrote that book. It's a book by Jacob Carruthers.
Question? Yes, ma'am.
So what, if you want to do a product, what place, I hear everybody doing research, what places did you go to research stuff?
Where should she go to research
You want to do a
products?
Yeah, like the best sources.
The best sources to research products. Like what specifically? What type of products?
I mean, like anything, if you have an idea that you want to do, like everyone's getting, they say they did research, but like where did you get research? Because you can't trust everything on the internet. Did you get like scholarly research? Encyclopedia? I don't
So
know.
like a search engine for African American products?
You said a search engine?
A search engine for African American products?
Oh, I mean, I'm just asking like what did they use as research to help them market their idea of product?
What resources did we use to research our business product model or model?
Yes.
Okay.
For myself, I'm in childcare, so I do. I have a lot of friends that's in childcare, so I feed off of them classes. I take classes. But I was trying to understand your question more. So if you're saying something like shea butter or something, I would go to the person who had good shea butter and talk to them. Or jewelry. If you're talking about something like that, I would say talk to someone that have good quality products, and then you can feed off of them.
My research came from mostly the people who I was around really most of the time. But then when I wanted to know about a specific, let's say more of in-depth electrical or in-depth drafting or drawings, then I would go, kind of revert back to some of the teachings that I had. But I would probably research whatever I need to do to get ahead. Because you can find a lot in the internet and kind of like guide you in the right direction as to where you need to go.
Anybody else?
I would say it does depend on what your product is, but either way, I mean, you could start with definitely internet. You can pay for market research for about different products, but it tends to be a little expensive. So believe it or not, it's interesting how we don't use a library anymore. But there's quite a few great resources that are at the library that you can utilize now that are quite expensive if you try to use it outside of the library. So it does depend on your product. Once you decide about the product, you can also look into different industry data that's relative to that product. And there's a lot of public information that's out there that's industry related to certain products. So that's the best general information I can give you.
Google University. Any other questions? Yes.
For the Irritated Genie, is the clothing sold wholesale as well? Interested person?
Yes. So for instance.
You want to know if your clothing was selling wholesale?
Yes. So for instance, I got this at wholesale. That's how I'm able to sell it. But let's say I'm going to go back because these are going fast. They're going fast today. So when we go back, if there's someone else that's interested in doing it, I really would like to do that, because if we can't get an initiative here from PG County, I don't know, we're going to get it. But in the meantime, I still want to be doing it. It's much cheaper because the shipping is the expensive part. But if I get other people that want to do it and can do it, then we can get a lot more. We can get it cheaper, and that will cut down on the price of shipping as well. And then we can spread it more and we can grow it faster. So absolutely, it's available at wholesale.
What's the average retail price right now?
Right now, what I did for these, because they're all hand-stitched, I made the decision that the single ones are $80, and the Two-side reversible ones are $120. And it's like you can't once you see the quality, once you feel them, like, I haven't had one person that balked at the price.
Yeah, that's actually very affordable considering. Oh, I'm sorry.
The gentleman in the black jacket. I'm sorry. I'm not quite. I didn't quite understand what you do. You had an awesome presentation. I'm not sure what your business is.
Not a problem. I'm a business transformation coach, and I also help folks with peak performance. Also can do some consulting too, depends on what your scenario is.
Okay, question.
How many questions can I ask?
Well, depending on how many questions are in the room, we are. So.
This question is for all of you. How do you guys feel that capitalism and individualism is going to solve the black problem in the community?
Excellent question.
Okay, so the young man asked, how do you feel that capitalism and individualism is going to solve the problems in the black community? So I would say individualism is not going to solve it. That's why we're in the condition that we're in now.
Right.
We're not going to work that way. I would say capitalism, we use fancy terms. I would say it like this. The bottom line is, we got money. We need to spend our money with black people.
Yeah.
I'm not one of the people that sell the idea that we shouldn't spend money, and I don't care about consumerism. I got a table. I want you to be a consumer. I want you to be the most consumerized person in the world. I want you to see everything on the table and spend every dollar you got to check at my table. But guess what? I'm taking that money, giving it back to black people. If we keep doing that, we can.
Right.
The issue is not that we are consumerists. The issue is that we're not spending our money with stuff that we're producing. So we have to be on both sides, consumers and the producers of that which we consume, and then it will fix the problem. So that would be my answer to that.
That's a great question. I agree. I mean, I will piggyback on what he's saying in terms of capitalism. I think it does first start with being conscious about how economics actually work and how it can actually affect us as a people when we do exactly what he's talking about. We're not going to do it by ourselves. In fact, nobody does.
That's right.
And if you look at any of the other groups, they don't do it by themselves
That's
either.
right.
In fact, they do even better because they do it together.
Right.
And we used to do a lot more of that. And I think we're starting to get back to it. But that's pretty much the answer. We got to do exactly what we're doing right now.
That's it. That's it. That's what this is.
Well, I might be a little bit different off from what was just said. Individualism, I think it will work because, like I said earlier, that's how the Black Wall Street started. So we all need, it depends on how you're using the word individual, because we all need everybody's creativity to come together as a whole. So that's where I would take individualism at. Capitalism, I think capitalism will give us more choices. If more choices and give us power. If we, depending on how you're using the word capitalism, but we need money. We need the money to make more choices, better choices, and give us power.
Mine's also is a little different because I get calls from all walks of life. And I use products from all around the country, all around the world. Mostly from Mexico when I'm doing a certain project. But I do spend within my community. I keep my money within my community when I can. But it's my personal money, but my business money, I have to spend outside because a lot of us, we're not making
That's right.
Mechanical parts from here and there. And very seldom will I even find a part that is black owned. Majority of the stuff that we buy now, which is going to hurt, maybe not me, but the people who call me when we buy stuff. A lot of stuff we buy is from made in Mexico, and when we get the tariff from Trump putting on these other countries, then that's going to be a markup for me. Then I have to mark up for them.
Mm-hmm. And I was just ashamed to everything that was just said, really. You know, I was talking to my brother Imhotep recently, and he shared something that was profound that I hadn't considered. And he had mentioned how it's one thing for us to support black-owned businesses, and it's a whole nother level when black-owned businesses support other black-owned businesses. That takes it to a whole nother level. And so when we start looking in that mindset and growing our minds and thinking bigger, then we can have more. Yes. Okay. Any other
Okay, I got a
questions?
question.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you, sis, regarding the children. Did you start, like, for instance, I know you needed to do 90 hours to have a daycare. Did you get that through, like, a community college, or did you do it online? Which would you recommend for somebody who wants to open up a daycare? I have a question for you.
I would say going to class, be in a room. Some private people do 90 hours, and also schools. I got mine from college. Online classes, I would only take online classes if it's like giving you 2 hours, 3 hours. I wouldn't take a whole bunch of hours online because you want to be interactive with the teacher.
I got you. Okay. My question concerning the programming. You were talking about reprogramming the mind, because I think a lot of us have a mindset of lack or limitation. Can you give me a little snapshot as to how your business could help reprogram that if I'm working with that type of limitation mindset?
Absolutely. The very first thing I do with every entrepreneur in my program is I put everybody through something I call the ultimate 21-day mental reset. A lot of times people think that, you know, just because you're not watching TV, that's good enough. Well, it's like this. It's kind of like a sausage machine. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. So it's good to not watch content. It's good to not consume social media in certain ways or certain dosage. But at the same time, you still want to put certain things in so that you get something different coming out. So my program will take you through a 21-day process of one, purging. You can kind of call it kind of like a cleanse for your mind. But at the same time, we're giving you some things, some concepts. Now we've added to the program, and we go and we build on time management. Because a lot of the folks who go through the program end up with a lot of energy. It's interesting how it works. People don't realize how much words and how much concepts actually has a biochemical response. And physiologically, you're going to actually feel less energy based off of the content that you're consuming.
Right.
So a lot of folks end up feeling more energetic, and they're like really surprised. I'm like, yeah, well, that's what a lot of love and hip hop, I'm sorry to knock it, but it is what it is.
Right.
And a lot of the music will do to you. So that's what the program does. We walk you through that first, and then we start working on business. And it's an ongoing process, and many people will go through it over and over again. And every time you go through it, you get better, you develop, and you progress even more until it eventually should become a lifestyle.
Great question. A great answer, and I'm definitely going to look into that.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you, Irritated Genie, about how we want, like, the grassroots efforts. I'm from Baltimore, but I got a sister in PG, so I can use her address if I have to. And I wanted, like, how would I start? Would I start with, like, a letter writing campaign? Would I start maybe working with the NAACP or an organization that's already formed to kind of get these things done? I'm just looking for where to get started getting this initiative going.
I would say if you're in Baltimore, you're in a port city. So I would say, I'm talking PG County because I know the people have money, but I would say you should look in Baltimore. Okay. Talk to some of the people. I know Brother Darren Muhammad is a brother that's very knowledgeable about stuff, but find the people on the ground who would know, look, we want to do an initiative like this. Who would help us do this? Even if it's not somebody in government, it may be a business person. A Reginald Lewis type of brother who's like, yeah, I'd like this. Yeah. There are lots of people who might not be conscious, but if they heard of a business idea that made sense to work with other black folks, they might not be thinking about the black aspect. They'd be thinking about, wow, we get inexpensive labor, access to the resource and things of that nature. One way or the other, there are people that are in Baltimore, which is where the stuff will come in anyway. If it's going to come in on the seas, that's even a better place to even have the kind of dialogue. And what will happen is, we're going to try to do it here in PG. Imagine if, I'm giving too much. So Baltimore is doing it, PG's doing it. Baltimore is black, PG's black. What happens when we all start doing it and working together? Where do we put ourselves in terms of this regional area?
Superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, this is Gene. Is there anyone that you listen to as far as video or audio? You know, I'm not talking about God. I know you have a connection with that. But as far as an individual that keeps you motivated and focused?
Historically, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Khalidou Muhammad, Baba Ashra Kwesi. And then I worked with Brother Kush, the Black Unifier. So that was personal one-on-one. I got to see that every single day. Those are like the 4 people who really moved me. Now, honestly, I'm so driven. I have a hard time reading or doing anything. I'm moving. I can't stop. So I'm not as tuned in anymore to what else is going on. I'm just pushing. Yeah, but those are my 4 big ones I can think of off the top of the head.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you. For a few years, I've been trying to get my product into Africa, into other countries. Where would I begin to get my product sold in other countries?
Our first question, what kind of products are you looking at?
I do eyeglass chains that hang like earrings.
Can't hear her. We can't hear her.
Eyeglass chains that hang like earrings. Let me tell you this. It's going to sound self-serving, but it's not. Because I don't know anything about that. I wouldn't know exactly where that would sell. I can tell you something different. What I'm telling people to do is what I did. The tour that we just did in Zimbabwe is a sister in England that does that tour. We just bring people straight through Straight Black Pride with us over there that are straight black and proud. Everybody clear with that? Okay. So we bring people that over there. If you're black, you're straight black and proud. We come on over. We went on her tour. What I realized is once you go on a tour to Africa, what happens is if you have a business mind, can I tell a real quick story? I promise it's real quick. There's a brother from America. I don't remember where he was from. Just an everyday dude. He went to Ethiopia. I think he had a friend there or something. And what he saw was that the people had this thing with the bus. When they wanted to catch the bus, they would sit there and wait until it got filled. So it might be an hour, it might be 8 hours. Once it got filled, then the bus would take off. So being a dude from America, he was like, a schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like a bus schedule. So he got a vehicle and said, this is what time it's leaving. And took it there. And then so he did that in 1 year, he made $1 million. I'm saying that to say, because it was just something they haven't been in this construct, whatever region of Ethiopia that was, they just didn't know. But he saw a need and was able to do it. For business-minded people, they go to Africa, and I just came back, and I'm telling you, I've seen it. If you're business-minded, when we go on the tours that we're doing, you're going to see stuff that a non-business-minded person is not going to see, and you're going to see opportunities that you wouldn't even have thought of when you were here. Not only how to start with what you're already doing, but you'll go there as a business-minded person. You'll see so many gaps that are wide open for a business person, and you can jump right in, and the people will be glad to work with you. And you still got to deal with character issues and stuff like that and everything anywhere you go in the world, but there's so many gaps waiting to be filled by people over here, over there, and it can be done successfully and effectively.
So come on your tour.
Come on the tour, and not just this tour.
How often?
Well, I'm going in March. I'm going to Uganda. Planning on going back to South Africa in April. May, we're supposed to be doing a Pan-African conference, supposed to be in Zimbabwe. But then the big tour is next October in Zimbabwe, and then I'm going to South Africa right after that. So I would say not just our tour. I mean, of course, I want you to come with us if you're straight black and proud. But any tour that you go, that people are doing tours, the productive tour, going over. Any of the black countries with African people, if you're business-minded, go on a tour. You're going for tourism, but you'll be able to apply your business mind. You'll see the gaps. You'll be able to jump right in.
What about Cuba? Would you add Cuba in that or no? The dynamics are different. I'm just asking.
I've had people, I have not been, but I have business people who are going to Cuba to say it's a great opportunity because there's a black community in Cuba who are very open to working with black people in America. From what people that I know very personally have told me, and they business people.
Mine's not a question. Mine's more information like what you do. Right up the street at Economic Development something. It's a big building, government building. They just did a tour to Africa, and they guarantee you they would set you up with 5 businesses in Africa that did what you did, and they guaranteed you business. And they do it twice a year. But here's the thing about it. Every week they doing a class on something. I've got government contract. I'm bidding a $12 million government contract right now. They teach you how to win them. They also teach, the class comes once a month or twice a month where they teach you how to get certified. They help you get what you need, and it's free. So you just got to know, I mean, I'm not trying to take over, but there's so much information out there. You just got to be in the right place with the right people. It's there. It's right up the street, and it's free.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get that information from you, and then I can send it out to everybody on the list. If you're not on my database, see Ken in the back right there. Just give him your phone number, your name, phone number, email address, and we'll keep you linked in.
I'm here to talk to him.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
This is for Irritated Genie. So why do you feel like unity outside with the African brothers and sisters in Africa is more important than the unity here? Because I feel like once we step outside and look for unity outside, we don't even have unity here. And so shouldn't we focus with the people here first and be the example?
You know, that's a good thing. What I would say is this. I don't see myself as an American, African, or African. I'm an African. So what that means is, wherever African people are having issues, wherever we can work with people, I would do it. So what we see here is what I consider collective work with black people here. Every black person don't want to do this. And I'm not going out there to try to force everybody. I'm not waiting that long. The people that want to do it, that are here, that we're working at, we're already doing it. Now, there's some other brothers and sisters on the continent that want to work together. I think we should work with them too. In the Caribbean too. I think as opposed to a place, it's a state of mind. So when you say here, the here I'm looking for is not a place called America. It's here, black people who want to help and work with other black people. And I don't care where they're located in the world. I think that's how we have to focus. Only because if we spend our time trying to knock sense into black people who hate black people and don't want to work with black people here, we're wasting time because there are other brothers and sisters, other places that we can work with and start building, and we can leave the ones that want to stay behind. And I ain't got no problem leaving them behind. I'm sick of waiting. I understand what you're saying, but I think no. My answer is no. I think Africans anywhere that want to help black people need to work together. We should not have any boundaries and restrictions based on location. That's my opinion.
Right, but we can't do anything for them over there. You see what I'm saying? We don't do anything for the people here. You see what I'm saying? So like how does that work?
Okay, I'm going to challenge that.
Right.
There's a sister right now that is smiling because she got a fat check when I went over there. We can do something for them there. And there's a brother right now that's waiting for me to figure out how we're going to get his products of natural healing to black people here who can't get healed with Western medicine. There's people that's going to get healed with the stuff that they have over there. We actually can help each other. And again, it's not that we can't help our people here. Those of us that are working to help our people here are working to help our people here. That's all I do for a living.
Me too.
But there are brothers and sisters in other places that need help too. And I don't see the restriction. Whoever wants to help, the internet is access for everybody. I do lectures. Anybody who wants that information, wants to apply, can go and get it. But I'm not going to restrict it and say, until the black people in America get it right, I'm not going to do it, because what if we ain't the ones that get it right first? If black people get it right somewhere else, I'm there. Whoever wants to get it right, I'm there. And I'm going to come back, though, because I did what was born. I'm going to come back and bring it back home. But at the same time, you're going to find out what most of my time going to be with whoever's doing the work.
Right. Do the work.
Someone had told him the wrong information because we are doing it. There's just not enough of us in the public that you know about, but we're out there. He's brilliant at what he's doing. He's the one over there. He's proof that what you said, no, we're here.
All right. Thank you so much, brother. You had a question about?
My name is Williams, and I'm from Nevada. Your best choice. Primarily, I want to thank y'all personally, because a lot of times you go places, you get quantity, but today we got quality. And the intimacy in here, I don't know if y'all felt it, but I did. But the intimacy, I mean literally, the love, nobody was better than nobody. This is where I like to go. And we need more places like this. And believe me when I tell you, what he's saying is true. Some will, some won't. So what? Next.
Keep it moving.
I just wanted to address what you had asked another question before, and the question was relative to capitalism. And what I wanted to say about capitalism is I think inherently capitalism, for the most part, is a very I-centric concept. I want to get a house with a white picket fence. I want a house with this. I. So the question that you're asking now, what a lot of Americans don't realize is that a lot of folks trying to keep the Latino folks from coming over the border and all this. And I'm telling you, it's nonsense. And the reason why it's nonsense is the very people that's trying to keep them out, and very people that's afraid of that, that's not what their problem is. If they worry about losing their jobs because of them, they've already lost. Because the people who are getting hired, they don't live in this country and they ain't even trying to come here. They're in places like India, they're in places like Philippines, So that's a concept. But going back to what you're saying, the reason why I'm saying that is because we're in a global economy. And truth be told, we will be ahead of the game if we start connecting with brothers and sisters in Africa. We'll be ahead of it. And that's why so many Americans are afraid of losing something that they're going to lose anyway. They've already honestly lost. Like, now we're living in a time when we're going back to a point of trade, which is how it used to be. Jobs didn't always exist. So now we're going back to trade. So who's going to win this game is going to be the folks who are basically entrepreneurs, because that's really how the country started. Now we're going back. But now it makes even more sense to do what he's talking about, because now we can leverage globally and not just here.
Right.
And
yeah, exactly.
I got a question for Mr. Dawson.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say real quick, piggybacking off what he said about the Mexicans, and they're trying to keep them out, and a lot of us feel like they're going to take a lot of our jobs, and I think that a lot of that is based in fear. I think when you know who you are and what you are capable of, you can't nobody take nothing from you. You know what I'm saying? So when you saying things like they're gonna come and take my job, that's rooted in fear. Yes. So we've got to really be conscious about the things that we say and what we react to. Because what's for you is for you. Can't no Mexican or nobody else take nothing from you when you know who you are.
That's right.
So I just wanted to share that.
My question is regarding getting contracts with the government. I know you said you just got a large contract with doing the changing table, which I thought is great. I commend you on that. How would you, if I was interested in getting some government contracts, first of all, is there, I know you specialize in what you specialize in, but is there the best practice as far as getting a government contract to do government work?
Well, I would say, like the brother right here, certain certifications like AA, I basically just put your name out there. Like, for instance, when I used to be a home inspector back in like early 2001, 2002, me and another person, we put in tons of paperwork to inspect HUD properties for PG County. PG County never called. A couple years go by, I get a call from somebody asking me, say, hey, listen, are you still interested in inspecting property? I'm like, yes. They said, well, I said, I put that paperwork in years ago. And they said, no, well, this is not PG County, this is the federal government. Wow. So what happened was PG County never called me, but my name was still in there, and they forwarded my name to the federal government, and then I became a disaster site inspector around the country. So, and I still do that now, but I turn them down because I'm so busy home now. But at first, I was waiting for anything to come through the phone.
You got turned down work.
You don't look for money look for you.
So, PG County, like I said, they never called. They forwarded the name to the federal government, and they said, hey, listen, you still interested? I'm like, hey, when do you leave? But the thing about that was, when they called me that Tuesday, they wanted me to fly out 2 days later to Louisiana. And I said, I couldn't do it. They said, what about Saturday? I'm like, no, I can't do that. What about Sunday? I can't do that. What about Monday? And by that time, I gave up and said, all right, I'll go Tuesday. And I flew out and expecting to be back a couple weeks or maybe a week. I was gone for 3 or 4 months. But when they want you, they want you. Yeah. And you got to be ready. Somebody said something about, I think Les Brown was saying, you can't, instead of being prepared for the job, I can't remember exactly how he said, but you got to be ready at all times whenever something big come along, and you just got to hop on it. But yeah, but to answer your question, I don't know how I got into that realm, but in certain areas, I know this brother here, he could probably.
I can give him A to Z on it.
Okay, I'd like that phone number, at least that contact information.
Okay, yes, ma'am. You had a question in the corner.
Question. I support you so much in what you're doing, Irritated Genie, because I traveled to Ghana first time in 1993, and I was told when I got there that it was going to take the African born in America to keep Africa.
Yeah.
We have to support it.
They do it. When they get here, they support.
Thanks. Yes, ma'am.
I just had a question. I'm not from this area, and I don't have a particular business that I portray. A lot of times I've come to these meetings as a tsunami of beautifulness and African American culture. Like, this is so amazing for me. I grew up in like a small town in LA. Like, I've never seen this type of beauty. But it's been hard to like figure out how to wrap my mind around it and how to even get immersed in all this wonderfulness I see. Is there any tips that you guys have
For
like access to the businesses, to the whole culture, like
The culture here.
Yeah.
You're here. You're from here. I
No.
mean, you live here now.
Yeah, I just moved here.
You're in the culture hub right now. You're sitting in it. You're sitting in it, and you'll be surprised. This is so much more than just a restaurant, as you can see. You know, and so you'd be surprised the people you would meet here. Yes. Okay. We have your information to sign up because we do a lot of different things here, community-based here.
I just found this out on Meetup. So
well, before you leave, make sure I get your information so we can keep you plugged in.
My organization, PLM, we like 45, 50 minutes away. We do studying groups every Sunday from 2 to 4:30. Every Sunday, reading African cultural books. Also, we have an event coming up next Saturday, Wake Up, Rise Up conference we do yearly. So I can get your information after.
Another excellent organization. Yeah, I can definitely concur. Any other questions in the room? Sister Wasita.
Hey, peace and blessings, everybody. I just wanted to just make a quick comment. As we're talking about business, also think about how we can give back. I have a non-profit organization which is grassroots. It means I operate without a grant. So that way I can feed anybody. Hey, nobody dictate how I feed or what I do. And so, but a lot of grassroots nonprofits, we don't get the support, but yet our phones ring 24/7 of those in need.
Yes.
So as we're growing in business, think about giving back, which is the tax write-off for you. So as we move forward, I want to see everybody succeed. There's nothing wrong in prospering. Just remember, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yes.
Right.
Now, my nonprofit is right here in Capitol Heights, a food desert. We have no grocery store. Your nearest grocery store, what, 5-10 miles away? They replaced the grocery store with Planet Fitness and a Dollar Tree. So what are we going to do to help our brothers and sisters? That's me. I'm that bridge there, but I need your support. So as we prosper in our businesses, also think about the brothers and sisters, how we can give back.
Sister, thank you, Sister Wasita.
We need your information.
You know, we did a survey, and I was at an event, and this Asian, Jim was brilliant because he had money. And they asked the question, why come our community isn't benefiting from our money? And he said something that really has stuck with me, and I can't get it out of my head. He says, we come over here, we come into your community looking, you come into your community, you want a job. We come in your community looking for a business. And that's the difference in our mindset. They don't come looking for a job. They come to open up a business, and we go to them for a job. And that's why come we can't survive.
Change the way we think. Yeah.
Mindset.
Hey, how we looking on time, family? Anybody? Okay.
16.
All right. So we're going to make him the last question.
Oh, yeah. So,
I like this guy.
And just for him to finish. In the industrial age, the new one, are degrees going to be obsolete?
Oh, you said in the fourth
Another good
industrial
question.
revolution, will the degrees be obsolete?
Yeah.
Depends on probably what your degree is in. Because right now, I mean, we have a lot of folks who got degrees who don't quite use them. And it really does depend on what it is you do. Well, what they're saying is this: most people are going to end up with 5 different jobs. And at the end of the day, you may have 5 different jobs at one time. But for most, you're not going to be staying in one job anymore. That's where it's changing. So people are going to have to become a lot more flexible. People are going to have to become a lot more versatile in terms of what they have the ability to be able to do. My personal take on it is to start a business so that you can position yourself around the variables that can control as much of your scenario as possible. But that's still going to mean that you're going to probably have to learn some things that you may not already know. So even in the fourth industrial revolution, I still say you still want to have a business either way. But what that business will be in, that's too hard to say in just this quick conversation. But yes, yes and no. It really will depend on what it is that you're doing.
Go to school or not go to school?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you should stay in school for the rest of your life.
That's right.
But rather than that, you should go to college. Are you asking, should you go to college? I'm never going to tell someone don't go to college, but I will say this. You really don't have to go to a college to learn the things that you need to know. And quite frankly, a lot of stuff I learned was not in a college. There are a lot of certifications, and because now it's becoming back, it's going back to being trade oriented. A lot of folks that do very well now, they don't go to four-year colleges. They may go to someone like Strayer or someplace like that. So it's going to really depend on what it is you want to do, but you need to understand what's available. We have a Fourth Industrial Revolution course through my program that will really kind of like get you familiar with the different types of technology and where things are going.
I want to add to that. On our program last week, we had a brother, brilliant brother, to come on and discuss business made simple, making finances, building finances, making it simple. I can't remember exactly the title, but it came up. That question came up, and what we had discussed was, imagine if the bulk of us, instead of going to school and spending $25, $30, $50, $100,000 in a 4-year degree, that you took those same 4 years and learned about your passion and learned out on your own what your passion is, on your own accord, and how to build wealth around that in a 4-year span. So now you're debt free. You don't have the debt, and you still learn it. So I don't know what the future would entail, but I would like for us to get back to the way things were historically, where people went to school to learn. People go to school now to buy a job. When we go to school, the thought is, and when we come out, how much money we gonna make and where we gonna work, as opposed to going to school and learning about something that's the information that's gonna take us to a whole nother stratosphere. So I would like for the future, and I think it's going to get to that without us even trying, because the prices of school these days, tuition, it's going to be in a minute. People just going to, they're not going to be doing that anymore. It don't make sense now for half the people. Half the people that go to college today wind up with a job that they didn't even need a college degree to begin with. Half, 50% of the people that come out of it. So that is becoming, the wave of the future is taking us in a whole different place. So yeah. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it there, family. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us. Thank you. And again, we do this. We have this exact program the first Saturdays of every month. Come join us here at the Black Wall Street Renaissance. Some of the vendors are still here. Shop. In December, we're doing it going straight through. Every Saturday in December, we're doing a bazaar, a marketplace. So spread the word. Let everybody know. All right, and get on our in our database so we can keep you plugged in. Take care.
Is this going to be on YouTube? You got it?
Yes,
okay.
I will.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's going to be on YouTube?
Young man, answer your question. A college degree will maybe give you a job and keep you working. A self